Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly.
I thought, yo, this is my life. I have to go pro in Halo.
In my head, thought that was more efficient, and I guess I was right.
He was like the god. We would have to 2v1 like just to beat this guy. Like
I don't know, man. I'll try reaching it. You're like, oh, let's see you guys later.
A lot of Halo in my life, man. It's been a fun journey.
I love it. Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly, your weekly destination for all things HCS. I'm your host, ShyWay. And guys, it's the end of April. You know what that means? We've got just 1 month to go before DreamHack Dallas, one of the biggest Halo events of the year. So something exciting to look forward to already. And speaking of exciting things to look forward to, we got one of the best European players coming on the show just a little bit later. Jimbo will be joining us. Of course, we've got the news. We've got our trick jump of the week. Let's get right into it with the news, this time with MattyRums. Actually made it this time. You weren't here last week. You left me hanging.
Yeah, I was a little busy. I had some things going on, some things in the works.
Yeah, apparently you're moving and stuff.
Buying a house. Yeah.
We'll leave it there. We got a lot of news to get to, especially, right? We got April updates. We had the Yappening event that's apparently over now.
Yeah, the Yappening event has ended, which a lot of people will notice when they first sign into the game. The splash screen is gone and all things like that.
Right.
No news yet on if there's like another event or something coming up. There's a development blog today from Postums that's pretty lengthy, but in the blog, one of the things that was interesting, he mentions that ongoing updates for Halo Wars 2 and MCC's base content will need to be reduced in both frequency and scope.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure, how many things like that will still be happening, but it's pretty much all hands on deck for Halo Reach. On Xbox.
That's literally what it sounds like. And we'll get to it in a second because we didn't get deflighting this month, and we'll talk about that. But it does seem like they're putting all of their focus and energy into just the next step, the rest of MCC, bringing it on PC. We do have Halo 3 hardcore variants that were added to custom games, the custom games menu. So they are building out very subtle things.
Yeah.
It says coding update to reduce map repetition. How does that work? Or I don't know.
They just made some tweaks. I know a lot of people were complaining they kept getting construct over and over and over again, back to back. So they tweaked some coding to help reduce that type of situation.
Right.
I haven't played much myself to be able to tell if it actually changed, but anyone who plays regularly will be able to give their input.
Yeah, something to look into.
A good change, because I know a lot of people were complaining about that.
Right, and they continue to make subtle updates to like the social playlist as well. We've got new maps added, game modes as well. The bigger thing was the upcoming changes, at least, to the banning system. Apparently they're doing something with the banning system.
Yeah, this hasn't been implemented yet, so keep that in mind if you're if you're planning on quitting. But any player that quits out during the loading screen of the match will receive a quit ban once that match ends.
Right.
So the loading screen being once the match has been found and, the screen pops up with the blueprint of the map and it shows all the players' names and everything like that. That's the loading screen they're talking about. But the good thing about that is if you're on the team that still has their 4 team members and the other team has 2 players or less because people have quit out, you can in fact quit without being punished. So you don't have to. So any like 4v1 or 4v2 scenarios, you'll be able to quit without taking a hit.
Yeah, which is definitely a good change because I guess previously you could see the players that you're about to match with right before you get into the game, and then in that loading screen, let's say you don't like who you're going to face or you don't like the map, whatever it is, you could quit without penalization. So I guess that would encourage people to quit during that initial loading screen, and everybody's locked in for the game. You got a 4v2 match, which is horrible. You don't want that. So I guess first of all they're adding bans, and now if you do end up in a situation like that, you aren't banned if you quit after players on your team have already quit, right? So I guess you have to have 2 or less players on your team. So if it's a 4v3, you still got to stick it out.
Yeah, it said half or less. So
okay.
But even if you're on the opposing team that has the 4 team members and the other team has 2 or 1, you can quit and you won't be punished either.
Okay. Well,
so it works for both teams.
Mm-hmm. So overall, a good change, and then. getting back into the flighting. So in the beginning of the month, Sketch sent out a tweet saying that we would have, if things go according to plan, we would have flighting at the end of the month. You can see that right there. Happy April. If things go according to plan, we could be playing Halo Reach MCC, but unfortunately that didn't happen. He followed up with another tweet just recently, and there it is right here.
Yeah.
That tweet didn't age well. And it looks like he's refraining from posting further tweets about like the date of the flighting until I guess they've had that completely confirmed, because last thing you want is start making promises that aren't following through.
Right. Yeah. He put out a post on Waypoint stating that obviously, like you said, it didn't go according to plan, and they're still working on it a lot. But he quote unquote said quote unquote, I can definitively say there won't be any public flights this month, which being April 30th, we all could. Yeah. But no target time frame coming up, because he, like you said, he doesn't want people to get their hopes up and then be let down again.
Yeah, I mean, taking off, some of the members of the team that may be focused on updating the current MCC and putting that towards, building it on MCC PC, adding Reach. Hopefully that increases, the speed of this process. And I mean, with the summer coming up and big events like E3 and Gamescom, Halo needs to have big announcements. So I feel like the absolute latest we would see something like MCC Reach would have to be by E3, by this summer. So I'm hoping we get it in May, but like early June should be the cutoff point. So hopefully they're working hard. We can get Reach very soon, and I think that will drastically change the scene a bit, right? People will start jumping in that we haven't seen jump in Halo for a long time.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people who liked Reach in the no bloom, no sprint days. So just like there's a group of people who like Halo 4. So
yeah, so curious to see how that goes. We also have a new Halo support site. So if or when, I guess, this flighting starts happening, we have a support site to give your feedback, and this is much better than what they had previously. Tell me a bit about this.
Yeah, beforehand, Postums would ask, on Twitter, on Waypoint, on Discord, he would ask for, feedback and information. So now that what they've pretty much done is centralized everything into one website where people can submit, they're saying high volumes of feedback. They can submit tickets that'll be streamlined, and they can provide informative articles and resources to players. But that's, as of right now, it's only for Halo insiders, and it'll launch once the flighting begins.
Right, and that's a much needed change as well, just kind of, unifying like where we're going to have our feedback and support instead of seeing it in a variety of different areas like Twitter or forums or whatever it is. It's just this is one website where you can put, detailed feedback, and hopefully that's listened to. Hopefully that shapes the game and the future of, the franchise as things continue to go forward. So something we absolutely need is more support options like that. And then, of course, tournaments are always happening for Halo. We've got our tournaments of the week. What do we have here? The Microsoft Store 2v2 to kick things off.
Yeah, on Sunday, there was the 2v2 Community Series. And as usual, they did the regional, top four.
Right.
So first place went to Chicago, Illinois, to the Woodfield Mall, which was pixelized in Bullet. Second place was La Cantera Mall in San Antonio, Texas. Went to Janitor's BR and Vandemonium. And then third, fourth was Costa Mesa, California, and Mississauga, Ontario.
Mississauga, Ontario.
It's a tough name.
Because I actually live in this area, so it's like, finally I got something right here, but yeah.
But yeah, so that was Nightwalker and Remiss Diagram and Mr. Sneaky and One Shot Sniper.
Nice to see some Canadian talent in here as well. We have the Halo Australia Queensland Logan LAN 4v4 that happened as well.
Yeah, they held H3 4v4 and a Halo 2 2v2. Took place Saturday and Sunday.
Nice. First
place went to SKE. Second place went to Authority. Third place went to BBR. And in the Halo 2 2v2, first place went to SKE. Second place was Nuke and Pave. And third went to DK.
Awesome.
It was nice to see some familiar names that participated. Yeah. Like the old Mind Freak players and stuff like that.
Right. Even just having an Australian Halo event of some sort that's consistently, happening, bringing the community together, and yes, bringing some of those veteran Australian players is great to see. So hopefully that carries over as we have more events in the future. We've got a female pro league as well, Halo 3 4v4 that just finished. Yeah,
they came back to their roots, like they mentioned, and held a Halo tournament over the weekend. First place was Guardians Gaming. Second was ShyWay. Third and fourth was Cortana and Caffeinated.
Right. So that closes off the events that just previously happened, and we have events this week before we get into DreamHack Dallas, of course, later in May. But what do we got this week?
Yep. Saturday, April 4th is the DreamHack Qualifier number 3, which you can sign up for now over on UGC Esports. Also on Saturday, Team Respawn is holding a Halo Wars 2v2 for all the Halo Wars players. Sunday, Europa Halo starts their first, I guess, their 2019 roadmap, which is Team Takedown number 1, which is a 4v4.
Nice to see.
And then there's also been, I saw on Twitter, a challenge was issued to all players from Halo 3 community on Twitter. It's a $1,000 big team battle challenge.
That's awesome. And, how does that work?
There's rules to it, but it costs no money to join. You play in a best of 11 series. All the maps, game types, and team colors are picked by the Halo 3 community, or they call themselves the bad guys.
Okay.
All the games will be on their hosts, which will be U.S. hosts. It'll be across. It could be across all Halo titles, but mainly Halo 3. Like I said, they pick the maps, game types, all that stuff. No cheating, no DDoSing, and no smurfing.
Okay.
But if you beat them in a best of 11, they'll award $1,000 to the winning team.
Yeah, and sorry, they have like a defending team that they're bringing forward or something?
I guess they're that good, or they at least think they are.
And it's an open challenge to anybody, like pro players included, right?
It doesn't say no pro players, but it says no smurfing. So
okay,
but to get in on that on Twitter, you can go to Halo 3 community, or it's Legitsky, LEGITSKY _, and you can let them know that you're willing to accept.
A $1,000 BTB challenge. That's pretty awesome. I like that, especially because it's BTB, it's Halo 3, it's it's bringing members into it's enough money, I'd say, especially because it's free entry. It's enough money to bring some names into this this event. So hopefully we get some recognizable names here, and we get some high level big team battle competition. Should be pretty fun to watch. I know just previously we had a BTB grassroots HCS grassroots member showcase, and they were playing BTB on Twitch as well. So seeing a lot more of this game type, and hopefully a lot more of that to come in the future. I'd say, guys, if you want more information on all of this news, a good place to start is noobcombo.com. MattyRums, who runs it, has all of this information there. He's got all the articles and links, associated links, so you can get involved with everything we just talked about. And that'll close our conversation. That's right. I was like, I just left it for you.
Yeah, I didn't
say
know.
Something.
I was like, yeah, you just plugged it, so I don't really know what else to add. So
yeah. I don't know. It's happening all on the fly here. But thank you so much for joining me once again, man. And we'll be back with the news next week.
Sounds good.
All right, and that closes our news segment. Something I forgot to say at the beginning of the show, guys, is we have our HCS Grassroots code giveaway, which is something we do every single week. All you got to do is type !Grassroots in the chat. You enter yourself in the giveaway. We will announce the winner at the end of the show. You get a BR skin and a name plate. So something to look forward to. Just a little tidbit to keep you guys here a little longer. And let's move on to our trick jump of the week with ClearlyMe. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Excited to see what you got for me this week.
Yeah, I got a jump that a lot of people know about, of course. It's been around basically since the release of Halo 3. But it's on the pit. It's a quick little ghost jump from S1 to S2. Reason why this is useful is everyone knows the sound of that lift. And right as soon as you hit that lift, people know exactly where you're going to land, where you're going to go.
Right.
So something like this, if you were to try to learn it and implement it in matchmaking, it does become insanely useful. But basically, it's just a little ghost jump. You're wedging yourself in between those two plates and jumping your way over to the platform right above the lift there.
Right. And this gives you, there's a variety of ways to get up to this spot, right? Because you can just do the generic lifting. You can short lift your way up there too. But one of the important points that you brought up was the sound that the lift makes when you go up it. So even if you're short lifting, getting up there fast, it's still, players can be aware of where you are. So I love how quick and not necessarily easy this is, but I assume if you practice, you can get it down pretty easily.
Yeah.
Very, very useful, quick way to get up there.
People tend to have a favorite side because, of course, you can do this on both sides. But some people favor the right, some people favor the left. I personally favor going towards my right. So I do focus on that side when I go and try to implement it in matchmaking. Very rarely do I do the other side. But I was just trying the other day, actually, well, yesterday with Gabriel and Echo Smith. We are going back and forth on that spot, trying to see if there's an easier way to get it down to a science. And it is difficult, but it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah.
Once in a while, for sure.
Are you regularly playing with Gabriel, practicing these jumps? Because you seem to reference him a lot. And I'm like, damn, Gabriel he's just practicing trick jumps in the background. He's like the one pro player who's like, I need to know these jumps. Like, I got to integrate this.
He's been working really hard, and he's really good. Fast learner.
I can imagine.
Yeah, fast learner. Him and Shotzi and Boo Boo Doo Boo, all of them, they're really good at it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's something I'm looking forward to seeing, like Shotzi, Boo Boo Doo Boo. If jumps like this can actually be utilized at the top level of competitive play, and they can do it, effectively, they can win battles at the same time. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. Because of course, Halo 5 movement was so important. Halo 3 still very important, but not quite as powerful. So curious to see how that plays out. And of course, just watching this one clip isn't the best way to learn how to do it. You got a YouTube channel, you got a Discord. Where can people, find you and get involved?
Well, I'm going to throw a quick link here on Twitch. That is to the tutorial. It is already posted. If you guys want to take a look whenever you like. I did create a Discord, which I'll post after my segment is over. The server is completely dedicated to the trick jumping community, me trying to rebuild it and repopulate the community to a point where it once was.
Yeah.
But you can go there. You can request help. I have a challenge system where you can earn rewards. And just a cool place to chill and talk to cool people.
I love it. Just in time for MCC PC. And of course, guys, the good place to start is Twitter at MCC Trick Jumps. And you can speak to him on Twitter. You can join all the relevant links that he just posted in the Twitch chat. So thank you, man, for joining me once again. Looking forward to the jump you got for me next week.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Right, that closes our news and trick jump for the week. And of course, the moment you guys have been waiting for, one of the top European players in Halo. I'm excited to bring Jimbo onto HCS Weekly.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of late where you are, right? It's a big time jump. Are you okay over there? Is it like 11 or something?
It's 20 past 11 at night, but I'm up at this time, so it's not too bad. I'm kind of used to it.
Right. I mean, all Halo players are kind of night owls as well. I mean, I can only imagine in Europe, like you're constantly influenced by the American scene because that's where the best players are. So you kind of want to be up and play with them, but then that forces you to be up at like 4 a.m. every day.
Yeah, no, to be fair, we're kind of going in the room because we used to watch all the NA scrims and stuff like that before every tournament. So I'm kind of used to being up late and just watching the scrims.
Are you hardcore on the grind right now? I know you have a new team that you put together recently. Is like you guys practicing together? You're kind of ramping things up closer to the end of May?
Not as hardcore as I'd like to be. It's kind of hard to scrim over here. But I mean, I've been trying to play, but it's just been streaming more than anything. Okay. But yeah, it's hard to scrim out here because it's like 1 or 2 teams, and even then, there's a lot to like stop us from playing. But we're trying.
Right. I can only imagine. It's something I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit more a little later, but like I always like to do, I like to rewind back to the start here. Of course, you're one of the most accomplished European Halo players. You got strong performances in both Europe and America. You're also known as the ground pound king for some reason. We'll talk about that later. And your career dates back to 2013, but where did it all begin? How did you first get into Halo?
First get into Halo, this was in my old house with my old neighbors. My neighbor had Halo 1 just on his original Xbox, and we just used to go around there and play all the time. We used to go there and play like watch him like play Spyro and stuff like that. And we used to just eventually we got Halo and just kind of gained more of an interest into it. Constantly playing. I remember playing. I can't remember the name of the map. There's that snow map on Halo 1. We used to go on the frozen ice lake and just try and stick each other. How delayed it was with Halo 1 nades and stuff like that. And I used to be the worst. It was like I remember I always got kind of like not bullied, but trash talked in a way when I was a lot younger because I couldn't hit a single sticky, and it's just like how times have changed. But that's when I first got into it. But another one that I mainly remember is my parents' friends around the corner. He used to work. Oh, I think he worked for Microsoft, and he got Halo 3 like a month before it came out. Okay. So we were playing it in his.
Wow, a month before.
Yeah, I don't know how, but he managed to get it. And I remember playing it on his projector in his garage, like on the garage door from the inside, playing it just non-stop. So I don't know. I just fell in love with the game.
Did you not even have an Xbox at that time? Like you said, you played Halo 1 with your friend. Even Halo 3, you were saying was with a friend. Did you not have a console?
We did have a console, but we didn't have Halo 3. We had to go around his to play it. So I played like me and my brother used to do super jumps back in the day like crazy in Halo 2. I played the heck out of Halo 2, but I wasn't Like I remember my hands were so small, I wasn't really like fully understanding what I was doing. I was just enjoying bouncing about, and I remember got like a legit like 32 or something like that on Halo 2. Like it was so hard back then, but yeah, I did play it. Just more, I was more of a trick jumper and jumper at the time than like a competitive mindset.
At what point did it become like, oh, I want to start competing? Like, was it Halo 3 where you started to switch that mindset? Did you like, you're on an MLG playlist or something? Like, when did that start to change?
So once I actually compete, it was Halo 4's release. So when I actually started competing, but I played the heck out of Halo 3. Like I had like, I think I finished off about 22,000 XP on Halo. I played a lot of Halo 3. I used to be one of those online guys that would just go for 50s, like try and get as many 50s in one account as much as possible, and then play on it. So I love playing Halo 3. Like literally, I think I had like 3 5 stars on 3 of my 50. Every single 50 had 1,000 XP on it or more. Like I played the heck out of it. So then like it got to the point for me, it was just like, I know I'm good at this. I'm not really familiar with the competitive scene. I watched the heck out of it, but I've never actually taken the leap and attended it, which is when I attended that first event on Halo 4. I made that kind of leap.
Right. And I want to know how that happened as well. But before you're a competitor, you also have to have a name, like a tag as a competitor as well. When did you come up with the name Jimbo? Where did that come from?
Well, I mean, my actual name is James, and I know quite often James is shortened to Jim. So
okay.
Go to. And then my granddad used to always call me Jimmy. He still does now. And then my uncle calls me Jim Bob. It just kind of like, it's kind of relayed off it. Like my middle, so, and I prefer Jimbo over Jim Bob, so I would just prefer that. But then my middle name is actually Robert as well, so Robert can be shortened to to Bob, so it's Jim Bob. So and then I just Jimbo grew on me a lot more than Jim Bob or Jimmy.
I like that. It's like a convenient kind of conjunction between the two names there, and it worked out. And it stuck for sure because you started competing, started making a name for yourself, but it all began in Halo 4. It was your first event was EGL 9 Blackpool. You ended in 8th place, and that must have given you some momentum because shortly after you joined Outbreak alongside Smithy, Snipe Drone, and Adam Ack, placing first place at Multiplayer Insomnia 49, and that's only your second event at the time. This must have been an awesome way to kick off your competitive career in Halo. So tell me a bit about these events. Did they really inspire you to continue competing? And I mean, I guess, how did you get over there? Was it a conversation with the parents? How did that go?
Yeah, I mean, Blackpool was quite far. It's like a 4-hour train or something like that for me, and I had to go up there with my mum because she wouldn't, it's the first event. Like I just turned 17, so I was kind of getting, I remember I was learning to drive at the time as I went up there, but she came up there and she enjoyed the weekend out in Blackpool while I was at the event. Which that event was an insane experience, experience the first time because back then, you had like that was the one that Ninja attended with Vibe. And then there was like a bunch of YouTubers like Syndicate, KSI, all these English YouTubers were, as well as the Farico Impact Call of Duty team, because at that event there was Gears, Call of Duty, and Halo. Okay. So it was an insane experience to go there. But funny enough, the 4v4 placing wasn't the highlight of the event for that, because there was a free-for-all as well.
Okay.
Which I loved doing the European. I mean, I've always loved free-for-alls. Like every event, if there's a free-for-all, I'd do it. Which was I managed to get to the finals of that, and in the finals, the way we've done it here is we do 3 maps, so it's a best of 3, and obviously the highest score, highest kills out of all of that gets there. Okay, and I remember I won the second match of the free-for-all, which but I came 5th overall, but I won the second match. So I'm sitting there thinking, I've got all these guys. Like back then, it was like 2 Foxy, you had Ninja at the event, there was Riots, there was Chalky, all these European guys who I'm just like, wow, these guys have dominated me online, and I managed to win one of the maps. And it kind of gave me a lot of confidence, and it showcased myself a lot more than the 44 did. So it was awesome. Right.
And that was the first. That was at Blackpool, or that was
at Blackpool.
Okay, wow. So like in your first event, you're already kind of achieving those first place, and that's where like you get full like individual skill showcases, those FFAs. So that must have, I guess, given you some confidence for sure. Like, and I guess that inspired you to continue to go to more events. Like you just kind of became addicted to that.
Yeah, because next event I-49, obviously we won the 44, and I won the free for all as well. So I did the double that event, which just was insane. That was at my second event, and I've just done the double at the event.
Damn.
That's a good way to start your career.
Somebody needs to update that Halo wiki then, because none of the FFAs are there, man. I'm seeing the 4v4 placings, and I think I remember you saying in an interview that you had won the FFA too. It just wasn't there, and I didn't include it. But damn, yeah, like those are 2 great achievements. And then that also led to you playing in Insomnia 50, the follow-up one, but you were playing with 2 members of Status Quo at the time as well. You're playing with Flamesword and Enable. How did that work out? I'm assuming this is a European festival, gaming festival that happens every year?
So yeah, it's like, how like you have a PAX or I can't remember.
Right, okay.
I guess it even turned into
Comic-Con
like a dream hack or something like that. You know,
Okay.
it's a big convention, so or a Gamers for Giving. You know, there's a BYOC
Right.
area, and then there's all these different expos and stuff like that, and they have tournaments on the side. Like I remember there was like a Minecraft tournament in one of them. There was Call of Duty at some of them, and there was they're really good events, and it sucks that
Yeah.
Halo's not with them anymore because I've enjoyed every single one I've gone to. You know, it's an
Mhm.
awesome experience. But yeah, the Flamesword and Enable thing was odd because they just tweeted. I think Red Bull just gave them a bunch of money at one point, and they were just like,
Right.
"Hey
yeah.
guys, we want to come over to Europe. Is there an event going on?" And you know, I was just like happened to get the Flamesword attention at the time. It was such a strange event though because the event started on the Friday with a free for all, but the 44 started on the Saturday. They landed Saturday morning from America, and
Okay.
within like half an hour we had to play our first round of the tournament, and then we slept in this really dodgy like one hotel room. There was 2 beds. You know, there's 3 of us on the floor because we had myself and Septic, who's called Sin now, and then Brightside, our coach, and then Flamesword Enable. So we literally all were in one room, just you know for the one night. Woke up
Jeez.
next day, won the tournament. Flamesword Enable left within 2 hours and flew back home because Thanksgiving was like the next day or something like that.
Wow.
So they were literally in the UK for under like 48 hours, won the event, and then left.
Man.
And then what makes it even more funny is Flamesword. You know, this is what I was saying. Red Bull, I think, just threw money on because Flamesword didn't even take his prize money. I ended up taking it. I was just like,
Wow.
I mean, I'm alright with that.
Sure, I can't complain.
Yeah, you know, so it was an awesome event.
Yeah.
Because that was the final Halo 4 event as well.
Right, right. And that's actually like kind of an interesting thing that a lot of people don't like. You don't immediately think about the Halo scene is like just the fact that you guys were all kind of crammed into one hotel room is like that's a big part of just competitive Halo is you go to these events constantly and you have like a variety of different living situations. Like you might like I don't know how everybody's doing it, but somebody might be you know living out of their car one day or something. You're in an Airbnb. You're all shoved into one room. Whatever it is, it's kind of like that's part of the grind, the experience.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some good stories. So, and overall, though, you said it was Halo 4. That was like towards the end of Halo 4. It was a bit of an awkward time to join competitive Halo with Halo 4 because the scene overall was kind of going through a dark period. What was it like over in Europe? Because apparently, towards the end of it, they had like a revival of Halo 3 or something. What was happening?
So, Halo 4, we kind of split off from America on the settings. So, I think that kind of was towards the end of it. You know, they had over in the US, you guys had a drift and stuff like that in the game mode to Halo 4, whereas we had our own settings are actually modded, and at the time 343 wouldn't support that, which is fair enough. You know, we effectively modded the game, but we modded the game so it was a clean 4-shot. We got rid of sprint and stuff like that on Halo 4. So the final tournament we actually played was modded settings where it was no sprinting. It was different maps. It was actually, and we had oddball where I don't know if you remember how big the extraction ball was.
Right.
We had oddball where that extraction thing was the oddball. So you couldn't see any of your screen, but it was the oddball, and we played that at the tournament, and it was so good playing that. Like playing no sprint Halo 4 was so awesome to play. But yeah, we separated off as our own kind of community. Just we didn't feel like we weren't really getting a lot of support, and you know we didn't necessarily have the organizations or the income to be able to go out to US events often unless we were invited out there. So we kind of just split off and did our own thing, which is why we went back and Halo 3 because a core amount of the community then loved Halo 3.
Right.
Some of the guys are still playing now. And we ended up having a social LAN, which this probably isn't even on the website because it was a social LAN. We had a social LAN up in Liverpool. One of the guys called Pinchy, who's in the European scene, hosted an event, or like a social LAN. We must have had about 30 people attend the event, or attend the social LAN in this hotel that they booked out for us, just to play Halo 3 on LAN. It was just, you know, like back then, the European community was a community. You know, we were a core, and everyone got on with everyone. Yeah, sure, there were some rivalries, but it was an awesome community, and it's a shame a lot of them have kind of moved on. But yeah, and then we obviously had the Insomnia 51 and 2 events, 51, which were 2 Halo 3 events. I didn't attend I-52, but I-51 was awesome when I did that one.
Yeah. So many things here that you're bringing up that I want to talk about. Is just the fact that you guys are like a true community as well. It's so grassroots, and you kind of split off from the American community overall. I've also heard that Halo 4 modded was one of the like was really good, like low key one of the better Halos somehow. What is that all about? Like so you took out sprint and you made it a 4-shot BR.
I think about it.
I gotta check that out. I don't even know about it.
Make it a 4-shot BR
at some point.
I think they did themselves. I think we got rid of the bloom or something like that on the sniper as well. We made some small tweaks that just made the game so much better. You know, removing sprint, something that was, you know, highly at the time wanted to be removed, and we removed sprint, and it made the game play so much better. You know, it was a really, really good settings. it kind of was buggy, but it was one of the European guys actually modded it. But yeah, it made Halo 4 pretty good towards the end, but obviously it was still Halo 4. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a shame it didn't get as much highlighted. I remember a couple of the NA pros were tuning in and seeing it, and they were like, "Wow, this is awesome," but they couldn't play it over in North America because 3v3 wouldn't allow it for the events and stuff like that.
Right. But there does have to be, like, despite the fact that it's not as large of a scene in Europe, there does have to be something kind of special about being a part of that community because there's so much passion. It's kind of like an us versus the world type thing. Like, it reminds me of like the Smash Bros community as well, when they like modded Brawl to make it Project M, just like Melee. Like, it's purely a passion project. The company's not supporting it. You guys, and as a result, you're building great relationships, I assume.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. We host them all out ourselves. People hosting the events were just community guys that that ran Halo forums back in the day. These guys that were just so passionate, like all of us. They get the equipment hired out. They'd get to the right people to hire out. It was all of our events were more social events,
right?
More than actual like proper mainstream events, which were awesome.
Yeah, interesting. So eventually H2A came along afterwards, and its time in the competitive circuit was short-lived, but it did lead you to joining Epsilon Esports with Buck 20, Snipe Drone, and Buck 57, which turned out to be a very strong squad in Europe, winning your final H2A major event, Insomnia 55, and you also took first at the Gamescom Invitational. This was interesting because this was the first Halo 5 like invitational event. You guys got to play before the game officially came out, and Tony, if you can roll up some of it in the background here, we'll just talk while it's there. But Halo 5 was a very different game than H2A. What did you think of it when it first came out, playing it at this invitational experience?
I loved it, but I think it's mainly because I was very, very good at it, because you're right, I had a lot of experience on it. Like before Gamescom, I got flown out to all of my teammates on Epsilon got flown out to 3v3 to play against Optic to test the game, play test the game.
Right.
Make some help 3v3 make some tweaks. And then also before on 6 there was a Halo stream, like 6 hours on release of Halo 5, where for an hour portion of it they flew out a bunch of players to play like a show match, which fortunately I was one of the players who got flown out, so I ended up playing it like 6 hours before release as well. Which wasn't weird. Like it's a shame because that clip didn't, like, that showcase stream didn't get much highlight or reveal, because we had like Pistola, Ninja, Snipe Down, Snipe Down's girlfriend at the time, Bittersweet there was Havoc, there was Speed, 2 other Europeans there as well. And then Benno as well from Australia got flown out and showcased. So I got a lot of experience playing Halo 5 before the game's actual release. So, I was miles better than a lot of other people, but because I was fortunate enough to play it. So I loved it. I was having so much fun playing the game because it was a fresh new game. Back then, the kind of certain stuff were kind of overpowered. Back then you had like the YY with the shotgun, where it was instant shotguns. SMGs, you could literally shoot people from across map with them.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It was pretty awesome. OP. It was awesome, but I'm happy they nerfed it,
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome from like just a casual, like, oh yeah, this shreds people kind of perspective. But then when you bring it into competitive play, I mean, you were playing like a beta version of the game as well. Like if you look at it, the graphics are different, like the sounds of the weapons and stuff. The DMR is so fast, and I know they updated that later. Are you one of the ones who felt like the beta of the game was actually like in some ways better? Like some people have really fond memories of Halo 5's like beta version.
Yeah, I remember
it's just been very new.
The beta came out like a year before the actual full game's released, and I remember
it was like darker and grittier too.
Yeah, I preferred the graphics on that.
Yeah.
I do remember. I don't know. For some reason I preferred it, but you could tell the textures weren't loaded in. But I think sadly at the time as the Halo 5 beta came out, we had an event not long after, so we didn't get to play it properly.
Okay.
I can't remember what event it might have been, because when we first got the Epsilon roster, we had reaction instead of Book 57, like a proper old school legendary European player reaction.
Right.
So we went to a French event. There was a French event called the FCO, which we attended, I think was around about the same time, which is why I didn't really get to play the beta as much, which was a pretty awesome event because we won that one. But I don't really have many memories of Halo 5 beta, but I do remember enjoying it a lot more. It felt a lot smoother somehow, which is weird for a beta.
It went through some ups and downs for sure. And we might get into that a bit as well. But the release of Halo 5 overall is what really got you into building your online identity, as far as I could see, because you were uploading YouTube videos to your channel. You were streaming regularly. You also completed various challenges for viewers, like the ground pound challenge, which is you had to kill everybody with only ground pounds. It was your bronze to champion, like road to bronze to champion that you were doing. Tony, you can play it up in the background so people can see what it was like. Pretty ridiculous gameplay, and it was a while ago too now. But is this where the title of Ground Pound King came from? I think before we had started, you were telling me that it actually came from somewhere else.
No, actually, yeah, it came from the clip at the start of the stream. If you guys were tuning in the preload, and there was a clip from Gamescom when we played against Optic. Myself and Flamesaw at the time were the only two that properly understood like the whole Spartan ability stuff with the ground pound and the Spartan charge and stuff like that. So, and I got really used to the ground pound, and like I remember doing it on the beta, and I absolutely loved the idea. I don't know. I think me and my friend who I've been playing with Halo for a long time, called Prosco, we were literally playing the free-for-all play that's just going around ground pounding just because we enjoyed it so much. It was so fun to do, and there was like a leaderboards at the time, and you could be the #1 ground pounder. Which I remember being #1 for a while, just because I go in and try it all the time. But I actually got the ground pound king, and I'm. This is why I remember it is Onset actually gave me the name. Is from the highlight reel. Oh, I remember we used to play against, when we were playing in 343, Maniac. I used to ground pound him all the time, and he didn't understand the ability at the time. So he didn't know what was happening, you know. So he's more used to the basic Halo. So when he sees me flying and charging up in the air, I remember him screaming, "I just got Jimboed," like meaning I just got ground pounded because I do it so much to him when we were there. So I remember that was originally it came from. That's what got me into it. But I think one of the early events must have been Gamescom or from the highlight reel at the start of Gamescom, which Bravo and Sims did. I did a ground pound stall and something like that, and I think it just become that people know I like ground pounds. I think Onset actually gave me the name at the first London event when I was on Epsilon of ground pounding, I believe. So I give that one to Onset. I think he's the one that first came up with it.
And I actually want to bug you about Onset a little bit as well, but we'll get to that also. One thing I like though is ground pound ended up not being the greatest asset in competitive play. It was kind of unbalanced, let's say, or a little like overly aggressive as far as how we wanted the game to run. But I like that you kind of just took it at face value, and you didn't see that new ability and was like, oh, I don't want to use this. This is dumb. I'm just going to play Halo in that classic style. You like immediately, pull that into your gameplay and try to find ways to use it creatively. And then I guess that gave you the name. But then, like you said, you could dump on players like Maniac who like kind of ignored it for the longest time. And then it was like, damn, I need to start, learning how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's the thing is, it's a new game. There's new abilities, where you can either sit there and hate them, or you can try and adapt to them and try and bring them to the best. And then, to be honest, I can understand why it got taken out of the rotation, because I started to do it more of a troll and a disrespect in competitive play than actually be something that was useful and effective. Because it got to the point where people understood it and they knew how to counter it. If you saw someone ground pound towards you, you'd thrust her underneath him because you can't do a full 180.
Exactly.
Ground pound, so it kind of got easy to counter, which it just made me understand why they got rid of it. It kind of sucks because I love doing it just to troll people. I'd go on Coliseum and go to the bottom of the snipe lift and just go around ground pound people just because I could, and disrespect in a way. So I know it annoyed me when I got killed by a ground pound, so it must have annoyed people when they saw me ground pound them. So it kind of gave me that competitive edge in a way. But yeah, I love the ability. I like that kind of stuff, but for Halo, I don't really like that kind of stuff. So it's kind of weird, But I just chose to embrace it.
Yeah, it's tough when Halo is so grounded on balanced play, right? And especially when like gun skill is so favored in Halo, and it doesn't really encourage you to keep your gun up. You're just using your Spartan abilities instead. But I also liked how it added like a hover aspect to it as well, like the way that you could use the hover of the ground pound and cancel it early to fire shots. There's even this weird glitch where you could I think you could melee a teammate or something if you're on top of somebody's head, or I can't remember what it was, but you can fly way up in the air. I don't know if you ever.
If you got hit by a nade while you're in it, it pushed you up. And it's the same with the stabilizer. If you got hit by a nade while you just started it, the gravity would bug out and you'd fly upwards.
Yeah, awesome. It was ridiculous. Yeah, so just from a perspective of doing nutty stuff, I think it was cool. But yeah, competitive wise, anyway.
Yeah.
So Halo 5's debut led to some breakthroughs in your career overall, though, specifically when you joined Team Infused, and which was kind of like the European talks at the time, because in Gfinity London, you dropped only one game, and you followed up with the best performance a European team has ever had in an American event, upsetting Straight Rippin and closing out DreamHack Denver 2017 with a top 6 finish. So let's actually show the very end of that game. Tony, you can bring it up.
control with these strongholds.
Yeah, 1.5 times as many slays for this infused roster. When you have that many more kills, that much more significant of a percentage, it's going to show. It's going to show in your map presence. It's going to show in your options as far as running around getting strongholds. It's going to show in the amount of pressure that Straight can even put on you. Jimbo getting that shotgun kill over a light rifle. He's got to be feeling it. Only a few more kills, and it's almost guaranteed that Straight cannot capture these strongholds.
Yeah, and now Jimbo is going to go down, straight ripping, panicking. You can see they're just rushing out, trying to get any capture. They've got some focus at bottom middle. He hits the ground pound, but he's not able to get the finish. It doesn't matter. Team Infused, the European squad, they do it. They take down Straight Rippin', and they are moving into the top 6 for the first time ever, making Halo history. Never before seen. This is the roster everyone looked to. Onset, Gaskin, Sims, all the EU guys have constantly talked about this squad. Even NA players this tournament were saying this team, they have got what it takes and they've got that individual skill. And you know what? They have proved so many wrong and they have done it. Team Infused are in the top 6, Walshy.
I'm incredibly happy for them. Obviously, it's always a tough moment seeing teams lose here. You never want to say goodbye to teams, but someone does have to lose. And at the end of the day, though, I'm super happy to see a squad like Infused reach this amount of success. You know that they've had to been grinding for years. It's had to been more of a struggle not having the scene as supported out in Europe compared to the amount of tournaments and exposure that we've had in North America for Halo. So this has to mean so much here to the Infused squad, and I absolutely welcome it. I love the idea of having more global competition when it comes to Halo, and Infused are kind of setting the bar.
So we'll play up some more. If it's already okay. So we're playing up more in the background here, but that has to be a big win, man. Tell me a bit about this. If you're still with me, Jimbo. Looks like he's frozen. Tony, he's I see him here, but he's frozen. So things not looking good. Earth to Jimbo. What we might have to do is restart it, Tony. Oh wait, he's back. He's good.
I Skype crashed. I haven't used the app for a
okay.
long time.
All right, take a breather. So we finished the clip. You won. You made it to top 6. This had to be a big victory. Just tell me a bit about that, I guess.
Yeah, it was because we boot camped for that event, so it was a lot of hard time being rewarded, which was nice. You know, I think we got quite fortunate at that event because with Straight Rippin' 3-0'd Luminosity really early on in that tournament, so it kind of that kind of worked in our favor. It was such a good event from performance wise because even when we played against, I think we played against I can't remember. We played
as well. That was a big team.
Yes, we played against Cryptic, which we gave us a lot of momentum. We ended up playing against Liquid, I think, for the winners match, and we put on a really, really good series there as well. But sadly, lost 3-1. And then we fortunately got put against Straight Rippin'. And we did pretty good on that one, considering Respectful actually threw up mid-series on that one. I'm sure he's probably gonna hate that. I've highlighted that. He was sick.
Mid-series?
He was sick after during the first game. So we were quite worried about that. Having a teammate that's quite sick. Like, should we make him play? It was quite worrying, but he clutched up. He stuck it together and he played really well. So fortunately, that helped us. We still got the top 6, but it's a shame because I feel like I'm a bit too modest on this. Is I don't think it was a good top 6 as much as it's the highest European history placing.
Interesting.
We didn't play a top 6 team to get top 6. We played a team that beat a top 6 team, but we didn't actually beat a top 6 team ourselves. So, because obviously LG were the top 6 team that got beat by Straight, so I'm sitting there like, yes, we got top 6, and yes, I'm proud because it's written on paper that we got top 6, but we didn't actually beat a top 6 team. So it's still in my head. I still need to achieve that. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, as a competitor, like, number 1 is what you're rooting for in the end of the day as well. So it's like you're not going to stop until you get there. I think even when you got that top 6, though, did you realize it at the moment? You're like, okay, we did it. Like we made it farther than anybody, or was it just kind of like you were just kind of playing the rest of the tournament?
No, in the moment, I think you probably have seen on the clip. I was clapping, I was happy. It was something that I was proud of at the time because it hit me. It's like we've just reached top 6. No European team has done. Like, I'm proud, I'm happy, but I wanted to do more. I think I said in the interview afterwards, like, we're not going to stop here. We're really confident in our gameplay. We've been playing really, really well. And we went into a series versus Envy, I think, just after. And we had such a close series with them, and it sucked that we lost because it was another 3-1, but we choked them 2 very close matches. You know, we could have beaten Envy to be in top 4. I felt like at that tournament. So, yeah, we wanted more. You know, top 6 was nice, but we wanted more.
Understandable. Yeah. I mean, but definitely the strongest European squad I've seen in Halo 5. And did you guys know you're going to be so strong from the start when you got together? Did you really gel well together?
Yes, at the start, I think the team got a bit. We got, you know, by the time Denver come around, we've been playing so much, kind of got a bit tired of each other in a way. But you know, we all wanted to get this placement, you know, get what we earned for, what we've been grinding for. Yeah, we didn't really know when we watch the other teams, we see them, we're better than them. You know, it's just whether we prove that at the time. You know, like I sit there, and think I think we were better than Envy at that point, you know, but we just didn't have what a lot of the North American players have, and it's closing out games. We don't really get the best practice over here, so it's hard to achieve, to gain that skill if we don't get to do it. You know, we were just stomping every single team in Europe. You know, the event before and even after that, I think we dropped one map the event, and then there was another event just after that where we didn't even drop a single map. You know, no European team was coming close to us, so the only practice we could get was just stomping European teams. So we didn't get to experience those close games, those situations where one decision could change the output of the game. You know,
exactly.
So it's hard, but you know, we felt like we could have done better. But maybe if we had more practice, you know.
Yeah, and always something that's been difficult for the European community is getting that kind of practice. And that's something I wanted to ask you about, and whether or not that's something that can be improved or fixed in some way going on into Infinite. But before we get there, you carried this roster over into the Halo Worlds event 2018. You guys finished in top 8. Of course, considering your past achievements, you wanted to accomplish more than just top 8. But following the event, you split from the roster. Gfinity recorded this short interview titled Fall of Infused, leading into HCS London. Let's take a look at this interview.
At Worlds, when we were in the Infused roster, we're not happy with our performance. I think we went out of the tournament a bit earlier than we wanted to. A lot of us were just deflated at that point. You know, we've been playing for a season.
Just 3 kills needed for Renegades here. Jimbo picks up 1. Mose misses the shot, misses a second shot, but 2 kills do fall. It's just a 2-kill game, and here comes the push from Infused. But no, Jimbo gets taken down. Infused will be going home after that series. Renegade.
Yeah, we just kind of split off. I think being dropped from that last roster really hit me personally. I think it put me in quite a big slump. It was a rough one afterwards, and I think I'm still recovering from it now, to be honest. I think you took a big hit in Nola. It was rough to watch the tournament because it's the first North American tournament I haven't personally been to. Market, they did really well, so I've got to give a lot of respect to them. But the other 2 teams, I think, just got worse. I think Lucid just kind of choked a bit. Radiant, yeah, the team took a while as actual team players. We took a while to get in the right groove with each other. Coming from, you know, you had the Riots and the Lunny coming from the previous Vex roster. They played a completely different style than Mose and I used to on the Infused roster. So it took time for us to get on the same page. I think we're still working on it now at the event, but we are doing a lot better than we were originally.
This is the first rocket, goes for the second. He'll pick up the kill.
I'm looking at Lucid because they are the #1 team. I want to try and support them. I want them to try and do the best they can. It's hard to watch them play and try and support them, but I tried to break through it. Was kind of disappointed that they didn't play very well versus, I don't know if they were called Berserk at the time, but the Latin team in New Orleans. You know, they lost that to not get a top 8, and that was a really bad placement from a European standpoint, and I think they still are annoyed about that now. So it's kind of tough to see that from the score. You know, even after they played very, very well versus Trifecta, I believe, in New Orleans, they lost the game 5, which was good, good and bad at the same time. You know, they performed well, but no, that Lucid team is very, very dominant, and I do respect how they play. I want to try and help the European scenes. This is my life, you know, this is my community, this is my scene, you know. I want to try and represent them. I want to try and introduce more people into the scene. I want to improve it, you know. This is not me sounding big-headed. I think a lot of European players look up to me from what I've achieved, and I want to represent myself as well as everyone else the best I can.
Yeah. So I actually really love your message in the end of that interview there, and I just thought it was very powerful, wanting to support, represent the European Halo scene. It brings up an interesting topic. The European competitive scene never really had that type of a leader, like one wildly successful player or team that inspires the growth of the rest of the scene. When I think of the top most recognizable players in European Halo, I actually think it was you who accomplished the most throughout Halo 5. Is that something you're actively thinking about? Does it put a lot of pressure on you to perform your best? What do you think about that?
I don't think it really put pressure on me. You know, I'm proud of my achievements, and I mean, I don't. You know, when people ask me who do you think is the most dominant Halo 5 player in Europe, you know, I know from event-wise, placement-wise, all events, you know, I would say it's me. But you know, when it comes to individual skill and stuff like that, I wouldn't put myself up there. But no, you know, I'm proud. Yeah, like I said, I'm proud of my achievements for Halo 5. The Halo 5 has treated me very, very well. I've been very, very fortunate and very, very lucky with the people that have helped me out and supported me with it. Yeah, it was like, yeah, that video is kind of, it's sad because it was a sad period for me. I think what ended up happening after Worlds is, or even during that Worlds tournament a bit before, is I lost a lot of confidence in myself and my own ability, which led to my teammates then losing confidence in my ability. So, you know, I ended up getting removed and dropped from the roster, which was hard. You know, going through stuff, you know, in real life, and I lost a lot of my like self-confidence. So, you know, I was in a kind of a low point. You know, we were very disappointed after our Worlds placement because we put so much into that. We put so much money into that. You know, we boot camped for 2 weeks. We argued for a lot of that the 2 weeks, but you know, we argued to improve. And I think, you know, I don't know if you guys remember the Reciprocity series with Kimbo's fake beatdown. I think that killed our tournament for us.
Right. Oh my God.
Which is I get annoyed about that because everyone highlights the Spartans controller disconnecting, but no one highlights the fact that we were winning a game 4, about to force a game 5 versus Reciprocity at the time, and we got a fake beatdown that completely changed the whole game. You know, and like that's something that's out of our control, whereas Spartans was his own cable bugging out. So, you know, it was that really did ruin our tournament. You know, I think that hit Kimbo hard. Kimbo's mentality got really, you know, he was so frustrated at that because it was such a big kill and it just didn't go our way. You know, and that kind of was rough for us. So, you know, we did come back and we beat Trifecta at the time to come out of pools. But, you know, I think we were so deflated. You know, we just lost out. I think we ended up playing Splice or something like that and in the winners bracket, and then ended up playing Renegades. But yeah, the seedings were messed up, I think, in my opinion. And we ended up playing Renegades, which didn't go the best, which was annoying because that clip then that showed us getting knocked out at the Coliseum Slayer, I think I dropped like 25 kills in the Slayer we lost. So I was kind of annoyed about that one, but, you know, it happens.
Yeah. It is, I guess, a bit of an unfortunate time, and it's kind of hard to see because I do genuinely think that you were one of those leaders in the European Halo community, and that European Halo needs that, and you recognize that, and I think that's beautiful that you have that goal as well. You have a lot of people who support you on that mission. I think you're 100% capable of getting there. It's just we're going through some weird times right now. You know what I mean? Like Halo's kind of in a lower point. How do you feel now? Are you feeling a little better? Are you optimistic?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm doing much better, but you know, it's life stuff happens. But you know, I'm trying to get over that kind of wall every single day. Yeah, it's weird because Halo is quite low right now. You know, like I've noticed my viewership's gone down on Twitch and stuff like that. There's not as much European support as there used to be in general. So it's kind of rough. But you know, you just got to plow through. Everyone's just waiting for the new game, so just got to do what we got to do until that new game comes out, and then I'm going to make my biggest effort to shine during that, like I did on Halo 5.
And I'm confident you will. And I mean, just kind of looking back on Halo 5, what did you think of it, like as a game and as a European player? Because we talked about how difficult it was for you guys to compete at the top level of play. What are some of those struggles that your scene had to go through during Halo 5, and how do you think they might be able to be corrected in Halo Infinite?
I think struggles were a lot more internal. A lot of the European players, you know, I would say have egos. I mean, myself included at some point, but I feel like I can, you know, based on my placings. But I think
you need to be confident to get there. Yeah, that's the thing. It's so tough. And I talked to Roy about this, is like balancing it. Like in your head, you have that ego, but the way that you speak to people needs to be humble.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Is a lot of European players know they're good and they know that they can outshoot a lot of the Americans, but you know, it just doesn't matter. You know, we're a community and we need to grow together and improve together. But you know, like scrims in Europe got so bad, you know, where we'd ended up ending games within the first 2 minutes because someone ego challenged someone and then they stopped playing, and it's just like, you know, well, the practice didn't get productive even though it was already at a low. You know, and it got to that point where we just got so tired of playing that we just ended up not even trying during scrims and stuff like that. So it's our own fault for doing that. You know, it's our own attitude. But no, that's the thing is, I think at the top of the European team, we were very, very fortunate. 343 supported Europe a lot more than I feel like it deserved. You know, I'm grateful for that because it helped me accomplish a lot of things. You know, I got a lot of support from 343 from our teams to getting over to all these events and stuff like that. So the support from 3v3 was perfect. You know, the European team, it's just more on us to make the most of it. You know, and don't take it for granted, which I think we have done, to be fair. Because now we don't get any invites. You know, like my team currently, you know, we're trying to look to get out to Dallas, but we don't have the funding or the organization to be able to do so, and we can't pay, out of our own pockets. So it's rough.
Right. I was literally just about to shout, sponsor these guys. What the heck? You, guys you have a whole squad, and these are good players too. Like, and I want to talk about that as well. But damn, do you ever think like some of those negative feelings are kind of predicated on the fact that like, you know, like you don't get to play American players when you play online, the connection's not good either. So it's like, oh, we're trapped here. We can't do anything. So it's like an ego fest, right? It's like, well, I'm the best then. It's every man for himself, you know? So it's kind of an unfortunate situation there. I mean, going on into Infinite, I guess online connection is like the biggest thing that they can do, is just try to make it as smooth as possible so we can have actual like very competitive online events or more LANs that have you flown out. Like I don't know what they would. How can they solve that?
Sadly, I don't think there is. You know, like I look at other esports, and you know they have the European scene is it's this big own thing and it's this high thing. You know, say for example, you have your League of Legends. You know, you have the LCS. And then the LEC, I think it's now called. You know, they have these two big regions. I think it's so much support, and the skill level gap's so high in each of them. Whereas here is, you know, it's in Halo, everything's North American based, everything, no matter what. You know, and we're like the second tier, but for us to breach into that top tier, we have to play against North Americans. So you know, that's like how other esports have gone into the franchise and stuff like that, and you know, having the LAN leagues and stuff like that. That would be the main way. But sadly, I don't think online is going to ever get better. It doesn't matter. No matter how well the technology gets, there's always going to be latency. There's always, you know, like eventually everywhere in North America could be on one ping, you know, one MS ping, but Europe could be on 10 and it will still be noticeable. So no matter what, you can't beat that other than, you know, getting the European teams out to, you know.
Like on a regular basis or something.
Yeah. So I think that's the only way. That's the worst thing is I know a lot of European players would be much better than a lot of the North American players if we got the chance to play against the North American players. You know, so many of us haven't reached our top potential.
Right.
You know, and we would if we got to stay out in North America and practice all the time. And it would be so better competition. But it's just, it's not on the cards.
Yeah. So as far as online play, you're like you said, there's always some sort of a discrepancy, like flying you guys out on a regular basis, if possible, if feasible, might be one way to get more regular practice, but even that would be kind of rough. What you were saying earlier was just Halo scene was large, then there's tons of competition there, then you wouldn't necessarily need to face the Americans on a regular basis. And it makes me think, like, what about a game like Counter-Strike that's on PC, and the European scene in Counter-Strike is the dominant scene for the most part, right? Like European Counter-Strike players are amazing. So, I mean, maybe by bringing MCC over to PC and having Halo Infinite with PC access, you're growing a bigger scene and you're influencing Counter-Strike players to play Halo in some way. Like, I don't know if they would bridge the gap, but if you have a bigger scene because of the, you know, the accessibility with PC, maybe that would increase competition and allow you guys to, you know, upgrade your skill levels.
Oh, yeah, there's all ifs and buts in there. Yeah, they could potentially, because keyboard and mouse is pretty good in European scene, but then it's whether where the competitive route goes down. You know, when I'm streaming, I get a lot of questions like, what with MCC PC coming out, like where do I think the competitive is going to go? You know, is it going to be on PC or is it going to be in console? Which I always reply, I mean, it's free for free. It's Microsoft. I don't think Microsoft are going to ditch off their own console as much as they want to expand the Halo universe on the PC. The competitive scene is still going to be in console, in my opinion, because, you know, it's Xbox. So I don't think competitive-wise it may make an impact Halo on PC. Yeah, socially, and the universe of Halo is going to expand like crazy, and it's going to be awesome. But competitive is still going to stay on console, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that definitely remains to be seen. It would make sense if it was on console. And by the way, guys, Jimbo, you just mentioned that, you know, people are asking this in your stream. Guys, we have a Q&A at the end of this interview as well. So if you have any questions, you want to weigh in on this discussion, ask Jimbo anything, make sure to start prepping your questions. Put them in the chat. Tony will grab them. He'll put them in the Discord for me, and I can read them off for you guys when we have the Q&A. And just back to your point, though, I think Call of Duty kind of hit an interesting hybridization point with that, where like they kept the competitive scene on console on PlayStation, but then they still had like enough, like even just their battle royale mode was like interesting enough to really encourage that PC players got on and played it. And then I'm assuming they had competitive events for the battle royale and like other stuff around, you know, on the sidelines and whatnot. So you still kind of had the PC community included, and you had a mode that was like specifically for them, but the hardcore competitive was on console. Kind of works, but
yeah. Yeah, I'd like to. I'm looking forward to see how it will be for Halo, but I from a competitive standpoint, I don't think the PC is going to make much of an impact from a competitive. But overall in Halo, it's going to be, that in general, I think it's going to be awesome, providing the game is we want it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sadly, I think the only way for European competitive-wise to improve is, well, there's two ways. Is, we stop being idiots and egoing each other and actually commit, or we get flown out to America to practice, even for a month. I think we went out there for a month and got continuous practice. I honestly think we break top 4 at the next event just like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like the mindset though, and I'm hoping that other European players can kind of follow your mindset and follow through, and you guys can have a bigger, stronger scene as a result. Because I think that you being a leader in the community, I really hope that message gets carried across, and we can see that. Now let's go to the present real quick though, because Halo 3 is back on the circuit. Have you been enjoying playing the game?
Yeah, like I said before, I just watched your episode with Roy last week, and he was mentioning the way that MCC is not the same as it used, or Halo 3 is not the same as it used to be with MCC.
Right.
I think there's a lot more latency now. I think that I haven't quite nailed the servers. It's a shame because in the European scene, a lot of us guys that attend the events, we're back on Halo 3 because it's what's in North America right now. It's what's being played. We want to be on the top stage. Whereas a lot of the European community, weird enough, is a lot of a younger generation now who are still playing Halo 5. Like you mentioned, you had Batchford on the show recently. Batchford, and there's a lot of other, like the Mocket guys are still playing Halo 5, and there's actually quite a big scene with the Europa Halo stuff as well. They're doing really good, and there's a fairly big scene in Halo 5 for Europe, which is strange, because my team and there's Mesa roster and there's a German roster. All of us play Halo 3, and we don't really, not necessarily don't support the Europe Halo stuff, but we're on Halo 3, they're on Halo 5. It's weird because we're split.
Which sucks in a way.
We're a small community and we split. Well, I understand all those guys playing Halo 5. We're in a downtime between Halo, so they play what they enjoy the most, and they're a newer generation. They prefer this advanced movement and stuff like that. So I try and support it where I can, but I don't know if I'll be playing all the Halo 5 stuff. I don't know. Let's see.
What do you personally enjoy the most? I mean, I guess the biggest hamper for Halo 3 is the connection's the issue.
Yeah, Halo 3 is why I streamed Halo 5 the other day, and I actually didn't mind it. I enjoyed it. I think it's just Halo 3. It's Halo 3. I have a lot more confidence in myself, and I do enjoy it a lot more. I got picked up for Mesa at the Gamers Forgiven event. I joined them last second, flew out to them, and attended the event, and I've never had so much fun playing a game on LAN.
Right, on LAN it's so much better.
It's different than the original Halo 3, but it's so fun. Like, we finished top 6, which again was another top 6 where there wasn't really a top 6 placement because there was a lot of teams not there. But we got knocked out of the tournament. We lost Game 5 to Elevate, and then we still played. It's the first event where I've actually carried on playing the game after I got knocked out. Halo 5 events. Halo 5 events, we got knocked out of the tournament. I wanted to go home. It didn't matter where I was. I just didn't want to be there anymore because it was just so sad. And it was just like, okay, you're kind of happy you can take a break off of Halo. Whereas at Games Forgiven, we played I think it must have been about a 24-game series versus GMS because they were warm. They wanted to warm up and get ready for their losers final match. We played them in a 24-game series. We lost every single map, but I loved it. Like we got absolutely demolished. Master Fear was just dropping 40 bombs on us, but it was fun. We enjoyed it as a team. Like, we had close games. Like, we didn't get full on like 3-0'd, and we had close games. But it's the first one where I actually wanted to continue playing, which I haven't felt for a while, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's really telling. Like just the fact that you're losing repetitively and you still love it. You're like, dude, I love this. I want to keep playing.
We're improving. It's you can improve. It's just so fun to play.
Yeah. Is there what is it, do you think, that makes it so fun? Like, I think shooting is a big part of it, the BR maybe.
Yeah.
Or...
I think it's just classic. It's just Halo. Again, referring to your episode last week with Roy, is Roy was saying about Apex. It's the first game when he just wanted to play it nonstop 2 months when it came out. I did as well. Halo 3 has that. Just out of the box, it was just insane, and it was just amazing to play. And it's just always been like that to me. Halo 3 can never get boring because it's just Halo 3. Different. There's so much stuff happens, and it's really rewarding when you hit stuff.
Yeah.
You hit nice clips, or you 4-shot someone. It's so rewarding, and you don't get that on newer Halos because it's just so easy. The skill gap's so much lower. Everyone's good on those Halos. It's Halo 3. If you're good, you are good, and you're at the top.
Right, right. And that's the sweet spot that I'm really hoping that they hit with the next Halo title is you just get on and it's fun from the get-go, and whatever's not fun is very quickly patched out, and we can just, have a big community as a result. Speaking of grinding and having a fun time, there's a couple clips I wanted to throw up. You're back on the live stream grind. There's an old one that I saw from Halo 5 that I thought was pretty funny. Tony, let's throw that clip up first. So back smack here.
This one even further away, this one.
Oh. Back. Oh yeah.
Just spawning in bunker thing got there.
Literally just because I love your face, and the face that you make when you back smack him is hilarious.
I love it. People, it's so fun.
Yeah. And then the other one was this interesting overkill that you got on your Twitter. Let's show that as well.
Extermination.
Oh my god, just blame the shit out of those last two guys.
It's something about hearing the extermination sound. It's just like, oh, it's just so nice. But yeah, I wanted to punch him fight apparently on custom for some reason that game. I could have shot him, but I just wanted to punch him more. Guess I was ready for a brawl. I don't know. It was a strange one. It was a strange one.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty sick. Not that it was like the optimal thing, but like that's always so much fun. It's just like, I've got the overshield, man. I'm just spamming melee. Yeah, come at me. Yeah. So, and I mean, yeah. So like, how has live streaming been? You've been having a fun time. I know that like numbers are kind of not the greatest. Maybe that's not the main focus. Is just playing and having fun.
Yeah, it is. It's when you get your it's good and it's not, because when we get European servers, a lot of North Americans quit out because they're not used to, you don't get the European servers that often. So when I do get the European servers and we get a good game, it's so much fun. I end up starting part of it, because it's just so nice to play on clean connection. But fortunately for me, playing on the East US server is actually quite good. I don't know why, for some reason I have a good connection to it, whereas the rest of Europe absolutely hate it. So to me, I can sit there and play Halo 3 upon hours upon end. Because the latency is not too bad, and I've kind of adapted to it. Playing so much, I think that's one benefit, is playing so much. I know how to lead perfectly on the East Coast server, so it's strange, but it's a lot of fun to grind. It does kind of get a bit dull and a bit repetitive. I said on my stream is I just want an XP based system on MCC. To me, like, I always like playing when I'm getting rewarded. I got a 50 in hardcore, and it's just like, what now? I'm not gaining progress towards anything. And I remember Dursky tweeted over Christmas saying something about they're looking at introducing an XP system, so I'm just like looking forward to that, because being back on Halo 3 original, I had 22,000 XP. It's something I always wanted to gain more and more and more. I could keep on playing, and you don't have that feeling on MCC, so I'm just looking forward to that.
Yeah, it needs to feel like you're progressing to something, or like some other reward system. One thing that I've been thinking of, and I can't wait to see in Reach, is I loved the armor system in Reach, where you got credit and then you could like buy stuff that you wanted or whatever. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool too. So like other ways to incentivize that we keep playing and grinding and accumulate something that we can use as a reward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I was also on your Twitter, and you had your new team announcement. I noticed this other weird thing on your Twitter. Why the heck is Onset in your banner? Tony, I think you got the image. What is this? What's going on the Twitter page?
So obviously, we were no longer part of Infuse. I think I had a Radiant. I was Radiant. We were no longer on. I was no longer on the roster, and I just needed a new Twitter banner. So I just tweeted out saying, "Hey, can anyone give me a Twitter banner?" And then Mark just sends me that, and he just says, "I bet you won't put it as that," and I put it as that, and I've just haven't. I must have had that. I think. Well, what Radiant was? I can't remember. When was I on Radiant? I think it was at the end of last year. I must have had him in my banner for about 6-7 months now. I just haven't bothered changing it. Yeah, he's a good-looking man. Why would I not have him in there?
Yeah, he is though. But so he just sends you a picture of his face, and you're like, yeah, screw it, why not?
I think he just happened to have it because he just recently done something for Gfinity, and he just happened to have it at hand. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. He's cool. I'm gonna call his bluff.
Yeah. So let's see what everybody else is saying in the chat now. I've asked all the questions I wanted to ask here. I'm going to now dip into our Q&A, guys. If you have not already asked Jimbo a question, now is the time to send me your questions. We're going to see what you guys have here. Maybe some some MCC PC related questions, because we didn't talk too much about whether or not you're playing any MCC PC, or like whether or not you play any keyboard and mouse. So let's see what these guys are saying. Homegrown Hicks says, at Jimbo, favorite map in any Halo and why?
Ooh, see, I don't know. I have favorite maps for each game. I don't know about favorite maps.
Maybe go for each game.
I mean, Halo 3, it's probably... I don't know. There's a lot on Halo 3 that I like because there's the trick jumping side of them, and then there's the actual like competitive play. Right. I do love Heretic, basic.
Yeah, Heretic. Yeah.
Then I love Guardian. We had ClearlyMe on here, like the amount of trick jump stuff like that. I love doing all of them. So I guess I'll say Heretic for Halo 3, but then there's like the maps like the Rig on Halo 5. I love moving around that map. There's
really
so many different
interesting
to trick jump around that map, and it was so smooth to do. So I do love playing the Rig on Halo 5. I don't know. I swear there is usually one though, because I've been asked this before, and there's usually one I say, and I just can't figure. But I like a lot of the Halo maps.
Yeah.
There's nothing that comes straight to mind now. Like, yes, this is my favorite.
Yeah, Heretic is one of those maps that's just so fun for like. I mean, there's insta-splodes, and it's also just like how often you're in battles. Like everywhere you look, you're just in another battle. I find it's just there's never a slow moment in that map. And it's interesting that you said the Rig, because like I've heard so many pro players just like hate that map because it is kind of a mess of a map in the way that everything's organized. But you're so right. There's so many sick jumps. Like I do that T1 to T2 jump all the time now, but there's so many like little like intricacies and stuff in that map that just aren't utilized regularly. It's a spring jump playground. Okay, we have Rank Polo 14. It says, Jimbo, what's it like being called Europe's finest?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I feel like it's a reward for everything that I've put in. I've grinded a lot, I've played a lot, I've played a lot of Halo. It's kind of sad to think about how much I played, but yeah, it's something that I've always wanted to achieve. I want to be the best at what I can be. It's like now, even though I think I've won 11 events in Europe now, and I went and asked Lethal, the European Lethal, how many events he's won, because he's won a lot of Halo 1 and Halo 2 events. He said he's won like 30 plus events. So my next goal is to overtake him, because he's known as the GOAT of European Halo. One day I'd love to achieve that, but I've got a bit of a jump to get. But yeah, it's a pretty awesome feeling.
Awesome, man. I'd like to see you get there. That's why it makes me sad to watch the interview and then hear your reply to the interview and say that like hurts your confidence in any way, because like you're so talented at this game. You've accomplished so much, and I'm sure you know that, and you'll be back on the grind as soon as things kind of get a little better for the scene, or you're still playing here in the background too. We got Wonder Boy in the chat as well. It says, ask him about P1. What does that mean?
Just move on. Just move on.
Just move on?
Just move
on.
No,
you got nothing? Wonder Boy is not. He's not answering.
I can't remember. What man was it? I honestly can't remember. I forgot it at the time. I think he turned around and 4-shot me on one of the. I can't remember if it was Halo 4 or Halo 3.
Of course, it's one of those.
He fell on dumped on me, and he hasn't let me live it down. I can't remember what it was now. Though he'll was it EG 9? He'll have a clip at like shortcut. I guarantee you.
Right.
But yeah, he did dump on me quite badly.
Man gets 1 kill and he's telling the whole world about it.
Yeah, it was Simplex. Yeah. Yeah, he won't forget it. It's his only good achievement.
Oxalate says, question for Jimbo. When you first started playing Halo, how good were you? What did you do to improve?
When I started playing Halo, I was awful. I could barely. I
expect most people were, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was the youngest out of the lot. I was second youngest out of the one. I have quite small hands as it is, and I got given that big, chunky original Xbox controller. I can't remember what it's called. The original Xbox one, the big one. For some reason, no one wanted to use it, so I ended up given it. And me with tiny hands, I was awful, and I always just got given that big controller. And I remember it, and I was just like, I can't do this. But no, I was awful when I started, but I enjoyed it. That's the thing I tell you to a lot of people is a lot of people are asking me, how do you get into the scene? How do you improve? And it's just playing. Just enjoy it. If you enjoy it, you're going to play it more. If you're going to play it more, you're going to improve. It's not something that you can sit there and say, hey, I want to become a pro because this other guy's a pro. It's something that you have to enjoy and play and play and play and play. And then eventually you'll get good if you've got it in you, if you've got that right attitude.
Right. So improvement comes from a genuine love for the game that you're playing, for sure. Homegrown Hicks, we already have that one. Okay. And then Elderly Chief TV, Jimbo, when MCC finally goes to PC and we hopefully see a couple larger PC tourneys, will controller or mouse keyboard players rule the day?
Honestly, I don't know, because there's auto aim and stuff like that. I think, I mean, for the first while, I think Controller's just going to dump on a lot of the PC guys, but then some of the guys, I think the second a PC player grabs a snipe, everyone's screwed, let's be honest, you know?
Yeah.
Snipe on PC is going to be disgusting, but consistently shooting a 4-shot is quite hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be curious, but I think Controller might take it just because Controller gets the aim assist. Even though you don't need it as much on Halo 3, but it still gets it, you know?
Right. The aim assist is going to be huge for the BR fights. Yeah, the sniping would be crazy. The one thing that I'm really curious to see how it translates over is movement. And it depends on, like, for Halo Infinite, that's a whole other beast. For, like, Halo 3, I feel like having that precise movement is important. Like, tilting the stick instead of going, like, full speed, you know?
Yeah. I think it would be easier for PC to jump on Halo 3 than it would be Halo 5. I played Halo 5 PC, or, like, the Forge they brought out on PC.
Right.
I couldn't. I mean, yeah, probably because muscle memory with a controller, you know, it's so easy to thrust slide and jump and like I tried to do that on PC and I was sat there just like, you know, I felt like I was clawing all strange. It just didn't feel smooth, you know, because it was like Control Shift is sprint and the slide, and then you had a thruster, which was somewhere another button. It just didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
So, and with obviously all the way that Halo 5 movement is, but Halo 3, I think it's a bit more basics. It might be a bit easier for PC.
Maybe,
Not a lot to it.
Yeah, it's depending on what way they go in Infinite. If they have any kind of abilities, like the fact that you're holding the crouch button pretty much every time you jump, that just seems awkward when if you got a sprint and you got a hold crouch on PC. I don't know. We'll see. Callus says, does Jimbo want any abilities in Infinite or a more classic Halo experience?
I would say I prefer a classic, but then I understand that 343 can't just go straight classic. I think 343 are going to go for a medium kind of point. Personally, I think the thruster pack should be anything that comes over. As much as I'd love ground pounding, like I say, ground pounding is not something for the competitive scenes, so maybe in the social aspects, but like sprinting and slide. I mean, you get rid of sprinting, it gets rid of sliding and Spartan charging.
It does. Yeah.
I just say get rid of sprint. I'm not a big fan of sprint. All the Halos we played in Europe, we've ended up getting rid of sprint because I understand why it's in there, but I don't think it's Halo specifically, which sucks because I don't think they're going to get rid of it for the next game. But I hope there is a medium. But yeah, thrust is definitely one I think is okay. I think there's a skill factor in the thrust.
Right. I feel like sprint is the least important Spartan ability out of all of them. Like it's the one that they could just like rip out immediately. It just adds this extra button to press, like to run. Like I feel like that would be an easy no-brainer. Just pull it, have the thrust. If they had thrust, would you want it to go like as far as it does in Halo 5 or like a shorter thrust? When I was talking I remember Batchford brought up this point when I was playing with him where he said it was like if it was more in the strafe, kind of like a part of the strafe, it was a smaller thrust, maybe it'd be better.
I think the Halo 5 thrust is perfectly fine. Like the Halo 4 one was awful. And then obviously you had Evade and Halo Reach. I didn't really like that. I think the Halo 5 thrust, they nailed it.
Yeah.
For a thrust, because it's not too impactful. It's just it's a nice way to confuse your enemy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think a Halo 5 is a perfect one. I think the movement is pretty good on that for a thrust. But then who knows? Because if they go back to classic, the Spartan model might be different sizes. The movement will be slower.
Right.
I mean, would it fit in well to a classic? Who knows? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Something interesting about the thrust is how it interacts with the walls and stuff too, right? Because you can slide up things. Like I wonder if they could integrate it in a way where like they had no sprint, they just had a thrust. But if you thrust in certain ways in certain parts of the environment, maybe you get different results, and that's where the skill and the depth comes from. Yeah. Anyway, Wonder Boy, favorite teammate of all time, and why is it me?
A team for one event, and that was an awful event from my. It was an awful event from my individual performance, but it was an absolutely amazing event from a social aspect. It was the first. That was that first Halo 3 event. So I'm sure I did enjoy that event. I think that's the first event where I actually ever got drunk after party, and a lot of people remember me throwing up, and I remember it sadly. But it was such an awesome event from the outside of it. But as for best teammate, I think I had the most fun when I was with the Bucks. I mean, I guess if I have to say one, it probably. I mean, I had the most fun when I was playing with the Bucks. I don't really want to choose but one or the other. I played with Buck 20 more, but me and Buck 57 got on so well, and we had a good year and a half together. So I'd probably say the Bucks because those guys are just awesome guys in general. They helped me out a lot outside of the game and inside of the game. So I owe a lot to those guys. So I'd probably say the Bucks.
Awesome. When you play with Kimbo on your team, it looks like your names are like purposefully similar, but is there any kind of correlation there whatsoever? It just happens.
I don't know why. I don't know why Kimbo's got that name. His name's Robbie, so I don't know how he's managed to get to Kimbo.
Interesting.
I'm guessing it's because he's into fighting. There was that Kimbo, was it Kimbo Slice fighter?
Right.
Guessing. I'm gonna take a guess as that, but I don't think it's that. But yeah, there's no correlation.
Okay. It's Dark Knight DM. Which NA player would you like to be like to beat in a 1v1, and why is it me? What? Why is everybody saying what?
Harry.
Yeah. So which Halo NA player would you like to, I guess, beat in a 1v1?
Beat in a 1v1. NA player beat in a 1v1. I wouldn't know. Probably like a Royal 2 or something like that, because I think if you like played like Lethal in a 1v1, he just would come up with some BS excuse as to why you beat him.
Oh yeah.
The same for Snipe Down or someone like that, you know. I feel like they just come up with some weird excuse. Like it doesn't. To me, 1v1s don't really mean a lot, you know. Like we go back to another European event, back to that same I-51. We did a free for all, and the top 4 of the free for all 1v1'd. I hated that. I hate 1v1 experiences. I remember I played Snakey in a 1v1. I lost 15-40, and I refused to play 1v1 since then. I despise. Weird enough, 1v1s get my adrenaline pumping the most. Even like 4v4 and 3-4 don't ever. 1v1s do. I don't know. For an NA player, I guess someone like Royal 2. Yeah, I feel like. Bro, after Royal 2 dumped on me at the 2017 Worlds, when he literally was just spawn killing us on the elbow, top cat on Collie, I just, I can't get revenge in a way.
Instantly became a rival.
Yeah.
And I agree, 1v1s are the most tilting game type in all of Halo. Like, if you want to test your patience, go play 1v1, because that'll make you more angry than, like, anything. Especially if you know the person you're 1v1ing, like somebody who's your friend or something, like, good luck. Like, you're going to get so pissed.
I can't do them.
Man, it drives me nuts. Callus says, how much film review were your teams doing? Was it more VOD review or team together for film?
I'm personally not a big fan of doing VOD. I know a lot of people say you should. We did do it a lot for 2018. It was actually really effective because I remember we said it in an interview at the event and after. We went over how Tox at the time played Coliseum Flag.
Okay.
They played a different meta where they'd run it elbow all the time. You know, like you come into Halo 5 and everyone would run it snipe, and snipe would be the preferred place. But they played this elbow game, and we noticed it. We noticed it specifically against Trifecta when we were playing, because we knew we played them, and we actually dumped on Trifecta on it because we picked up on it. And I think that's the most effective time we picked up on that strategy. Whereas an elbow play, I'm usually not a big fan of looking at VODs because they're so situational. You know, like people go back and reference points in the scrims and stuff like that where something happened. I'm like, that's so situational. We don't know what was going on at that point. We don't know what communication was happening, what was being said, what someone heard. You know, like certain VODs, you don't really learn a lot from them. But I think watching North American ones and stuff like that, you do pick up on one. But watching your own, I just feel like it's pointless. You just end up just critiquing stuff that would never happen again. So that's just pointless in a way. But North American ones for sure.
Interesting. So sometimes it can be very useful. SamWing92, which other EU player, past or present, would you want to hear from? What do you mean hear from? I'm not sure what that means.
That's a question for you, isn't it?
Oh, is it for me? Like as far as interviews? Okay, I don't know. Tony, you can let me know. No, you don't know what that is? Okay, well, sorry, Sam Wing. We'll get back to you on that one. I have no idea. Delano Hernandez says, what's your favorite Halo game?
Favorite Halo game? It's between Halo 3 and Halo 5. Actually is. People get annoyed when I say Halo 5. I think I have to say Halo 3. Although Halo 5's treated me well, like I said, I think Halo 3 I had the most fun. I played that game. Everyone played Reach, and I played Halo 3 still. Like,
yeah.
I played Reach a little bit, didn't like it, went back to Halo 3 for 2 more years. So Halo 3's got a good place in my heart.
Yeah, it's no coincidence that like Halo Reach, people went back to 3, Halo 4, they went back to 3, and Halo 5's done, and now we're back to 3 again. I feel like
I think we're trying to say something, and if people free, like I think we like.
There's
something.
a message.
Hopefully they get it.
I don't know. Okay, Wonderboy again says, question for Jimbo: what do casters do wrong that you'd like to see them do better?
Casters do wrong that I'd like to see better. It's some casters more this applies to more than others is they just get so into shouting that they don't actually know what they're saying. It's a bit me. I mean, this might be favored, but a lot of the European casters, I think the European casters absolutely nail it when it comes to casting. Like I remember watching what was his name? Oh, I'm not gonna remember his name now. Oh no, there's an American caster. I think Harry's gonna know who I'm thinking of, but he's got a really good voice to it, but he just doesn't cast. He just over talks and doesn't do very well. I think the European casters nail it because they manage to talk specifically. They analyze the game perfectly as well as they cast over the game perfectly. Just they're not too fast paced, not too slow paced. Butters, yeah, Harry Nistra. Butters, he's got a really good voice, but he has no idea what he's talking about. And then it's yeah, he might take that personally, but I mean it's you watch over it, he just has got a good voice, just doesn't talk. I don't know.
He's good at calling out the overkills and stuff.
Yeah, he's got that pocket voice on him, but he doesn't know what he's saying in a way. Which I think sadly a lot of, this is no disrespect to, I mean it kind of is, but it isn't. But a lot of the North American casters just talk so much that it just makes no sense.
Right.
Like, as much as I respect Walshy and Strongside, those guys talk about so much stuff that's just nothing to do with the game. They're not actually talking about the game. They're talking about, well, I mean, Walshy's talking about Pack in 07 all the time, and
like some color stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, I think European casters are the way forward. It might be favored, but European casters nail it. But then they have got a lot of experience over here. They've been casting a lot of different games and being able to learn a lot more.
Interesting. I'm going to take these points into consideration when I try my own cast. I'm definitely one of the analytical thinkers. So
I was going to say,
check like as much info as I can.
I've seen your stuff. I know you're more in the analyst. You see stuff. You see a lot of stuff like Wonderboy also sees. He sees a lot of these small situations that no one actually sees, but mean so much in game. Like that's one thing I've noticed from you, and I've noticed from Wonderboy is seeing these small situations that you just don't. You just think it just happens, but there's so much going into it that actually happened. Like I know you uploaded that clip of Roy getting the double kill on Pit on the first BR.
Right.
Something as small as that's so important. Yeah, some people just think it's double. There's so much going into that just a lot of the casters and analysts don't see. And I think you and Wonderboy are definitely do see that kind of stuff.
So yet another reason why Wonderboy needs to continue casting Halo instead of being an observer.
Oh yes, yeah. Instead of playing, but yeah, no observing.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean,
I think
nice
he
to have him
enjoys
doing anything, but
he enjoys it in the booth, back observing. He can sit on Twitter all day. He likes it. He says he doesn't. He likes it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you got to be like very focused on the stream, but like, yeah, you don't have to be on screen. You can be in your PJs, like whatever you want to do. You can be chilling. Yeah. So Kevin Cool. I think this is our last question. Tony, let me know if this is the last one. But Kevin Cool says, would EU-specific tournaments sponsored by 343 help grow the community where you can be the EU champion so that it would help grow the EU community? That's kind of what he's saying. I'm not really saying. So EU-specific tournaments sponsored by 343, but we already had EU. Like we had an EU Pro League.
We had those, but yeah, it didn't get as lot. It's a shame because obviously people know Europe in general, comparison to North America, are not worth watching. Like there was the two different pro leagues, and yeah, European kind of got the short end of the stick on that one. But everyone would watch North American because there's all these amazing people that people have watched growing up watching Halo. Whereas European side of it, it was only really Europeans that watched it. So, I mean that's on our own world. Yeah, I mean 343 have supported, like I said before, 343 have supported so much within European Halo, and it's really helped it. But it's a lot of it's what we need to do as a region to help ourselves in a way. But I mean, yeah, I'm always down for. I always love 343 support events. It's a shame because the last Gfinity when the North American teams came over, personally, it was amazing from a spectator. It was pretty amazing from what I could see feedback wise, but as a player, it was awful. Personally, in the European scene, yeah, it was kind of demoralizing for me. Yeah, okay, I wasn't a lower tier team comparison, but from going to winning 4 Gfinities in a row to not even getting top 8 and not ever even getting the main stage was quite rough. So from personal experience, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I know from the European scene, there's so many European supporters getting to meet like Snipe Down and APG and all these Pistola, Roy for the first time, wait, was Roy at that event? Yeah. No, he wasn't. But all these big people they've grown up watching, getting to see them for the first time. So, which is why I support it, but from a player, it was pretty awful. But
It's hard to hear from a player perspective. I didn't realize that. It was nice to see that they kind of set a precedent with their content, though, like outside of the tournament, like the production value of some interviews. I mean, the interview that we showcased with you and like stuff they did was great, and that set a precedent because we're doing more of it at the HCS Invitational. I think Halo needs this.
For Gfinity, I've always been perfect. I think Onset. I mean, I keep on praising Onset. Onset, I love that dude.
He's on your Twitter page. I mean,
I love that dude. He is so good at what he is doing for the scene for Halo in general. He is getting everything, like every single event. He is planning stuff weeks and weeks and ahead. You know, just small clips or little. You know, it's just the Gfinity guys in general. They host such good events, and yeah, it's good to see. He's kind of doing that with Bravo over in America a lot more, and it's awesome to see. You know, it's stuff that, like the last the Invitational was so good to watch as a viewer. You know, the BTB tournament and stuff like that. It was awesome to watch, and I hope Halo does that because I think that's going to get more people interacting with the Halo stuff, and it's
yeah, hell yeah, that's how you bring out some of the personalities. You have these like show matches, like Snipedown versus Lethal. Beat is like that's an aspect of Halo that's so uniquely Halo. Like I think it was so great for the event. WizWaz, this is the last question. If you could play one Halo offline for the rest of your life, which one would it be? That's easy. Maybe. We'll see. Now he's thinking about it.
Offline.
Isn't that like LAN, technically?
Yeah, but it depends because it's Halo 2 or Halo 3 for me.
Right.
Halo 2, I could sit there and practice super jumping with my brother on hours upon hours. That's what I love doing. I love long getting to the top of that double X tower,
right?
Doing the monster bounces and stuff like that, and
stuff too.
Yeah, and then I mean, me and my brother modded our original Xbox, and you know we were going around modding it, and it's such a cool experience. You know, if it's offline, then yeah, I mean you could mod Halo 3. I do remember when people were modding Halo 3 and making those racetracks. I don't know if you remember ever seeing them. They were so awesome. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's between Halo 2 and Halo 3. I think if it was offline and I get to like play competitive, Halo 3.
Right.
But if it's like, you know, I'm sat here on my own or sat here in here and whoever could come around could play offline, it'd be Halo 2 probably.
Okay. Good answer. So it depends on the environment that you're playing. We'll say Halo 3 competitive LAN is like the best Halo, apparently.
Oh yeah. I mean I've only got to experience it 2 events technically, but obviously from seeing it it's a lot better. But then I didn't really get to watch Halo 2, so I can't really say one or the other when it comes to competitive experience. You know, I respect that Halo 2 had a big showing and it was a big start for Halo for LAN. But obviously, I wasn't experiencing that, so I can't really have an opinion. From my perspective, yeah, Halo 3 is insane online, but online, you know, Halo 2 could also be this same when you get to experience it. So I can't really say.
Right. All right. Well, that covers all of our questions, all the Q&A. Thank you so much for joining me on HCS Weekly. Where can we? I know you got a YouTube channel as well. Are you going to make any YouTube videos anytime soon or anything?
If Unisec doesn't ban me, I mean, I'm happy to. I got
Did he
banned.
ban you? What happened?
I got banned. That's why the Bronze to Champ stopped.
I have coming. He's going to be on here at some point too. So I got to.
I think it was him. I mean, it's a fair ban. I can't argue it. I intentionally deranked the account down to bronze, so I got banned for it. That's I use the system to try and make content. I haven't argued the ban. It's a fair ban. Yeah, I'm respecting the rules, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like what Suckles just said, it's I was intentionally smurfing and I was intentionally deranking games, but it isn't fair to people who are legit bronzes. But I enjoyed doing it. But yeah, it kind of killed my mood doing YouTube.
Right.
Who knows? I don't know. I was thinking about doing Halo 3 stuff. I was thinking about doing a Halo 3 trick jumping, more of the basic kind of jumps. I'm not the ClearlyMe kind of level of trick jumping. I'd love, but I was thinking about doing kind of that stuff. But
I'm sure he'd love to jump with you, man.
I joined his Discord.
Nice.
No, because I wanted to find there was I can't remember if you remember the Dark Cloud train jumping map on Avalanche, and there's a map on Sandbox called Exhale. They're just really long. They're not hard jumps. They're just really long jumping maps. Sitting there for hours and hours. So I went in there to see if they had it, in which they did, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I did a couple. I saw Shotzi playing one recently on his stream as well. So yeah, weird one.
It's nice to see them transferred over from from original Halo 3 to
Right. So YouTube, your Twitter, and I think your Twitter's already here as well.
So Twitch is Jimbo. Twitter is, I think you said it somewhere. There's Twitch, twitter.com/GPK. And then the YouTube is actually youtube.com/c/Jimbosity, I believe. Yeah, I maybe will look at the content. We'll see.
Yeah.
Or if you follow the Twitch, because that's where you'll mainly find me.
I mean, hopefully, massive things to come with Halo, and we see a lot more. More YouTube, Twitch, all of this stuff. Because I mean, if Halo gets bigger, it's going to be hard to not want to do all of these things. So,
for sure.
Yeah, man. Once again, thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I get to see you at Dallas, man.
Yes, for sure. Hopefully, we're trying to get. Yeah, if anyone's
I'm trying to get out there too.
Have you not been guaranteed out? What? How have you not been guaranteed out there?
I don't yet. I was gonna message Tashi and see what
That's it. I'm flying to Tashi's Twitter. Come on. Yeah, hopefully, we do need an organization. If anyone organization
sponsor him,
please. Willing to send over a European team, we would love that. I think we can do some big damage. So we are looking, and would love to be attending the event. But yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you letting me come on here and kind of reminiscing what I've done Halo 5 and Halo in general. And yeah, here's to any more.
Yeah, man. Hopefully there's much more. All right, and that closes our episode for today. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. As usual, we have our Grassroots BR skin and name tag giveaway. All you had to do was type in !Grassroots in the chat to be entered in the contest. And now we have the winner, I believe. Tony, just let me know. It is Intensify is the winner of the BR skin and nameplate. Congratulations. Enjoy your brand new goodies. And that'll close the episode for today. Guys, remember, you can also support us by purchasing our merch. Tony, let's see the merch. Why? Wait, they aren't here? Okay, what does that mean then? Intensify, where are you? So what, are you going to redraw it? Okay, redraw it then. Let's go. What do we got? It's what? Dark. Oh, okay. It's Dark Knight. We'll take it. I hear myself on your end, Tony. It's Dark Knight. Congratulations with the BR skin and the nameplate. And now you can check out the merch, one way to support us as well. If you're not, everything you purchase here goes towards UGC and also goes towards myself, which I would highly appreciate that. And just stay tuned. This will be up on YouTube. We got another episode coming up next week. Hope to see you guys there.